Hey everyone. So yeah, I'm gonna record the most important things that we did in class yesterday, so you guys can recap and see in details again if you need. Okay? So I have here my running cycle. I'm gonna start using it, um, and then I'm gonna connect the key poses for our future parkour assignment. Okay? So okay, let's go. So I have only curves here in my selection um, that I can select, right? I'm gonna check the preferences. Time slider, 24 frames per second, play every frame, 24 frames per second as a max playback speed, update view all, save, and my auto key is on. So let's go. I'm gonna start by selecting the ground control, which is done, and I want to unmute here. So it will actually go forward. Okay. I'm going to change my number of frames from 19 to, let's say, 100. And then I'm going to go to frame 37. If I open my graph editor, it is something like this. And yours should be similar. So in frame 37, I'm going to hit S. Let me just click here so I unselect from the Z. I'm going to hit S and we're going to have something like this. But I don't want this curve here, the easy in. I want the ground control to keep moving forward, same speed, so a straight line. So I'm going to select this key and change to linear, okay? After that, we should have something, where is my guy? Here. We should have something like this. When that he runs, stops at frame 37 and keeps running in the same place. Okay, and then I want my um, let me change this. Okay, I'm gonna select everything, just drag and select everything. And then I want my all the controllers to actually repeat the keys and not on infinite offset thing. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I select all the controllers and then I will hold shift in my keyboard and click and drag to select all the keys. Mine is red, yours is probably blue because it's a different version. I will right click and click and copy. Then I'm gonna go to frame 19, which is identical to frame 1. So I will paste here in frame 19 because I'm going to paste frame 1 over 19. Okay, so we're going to have one cycle from 1 to 19, and then in the same frame 19, it will start the second cycle. Cool. But if we keep scrubbing in the time slider, he will keep running. And why that? Because infinity is turned it on. So we have two sets of running cycle here, but as infinity offset is on, it will keep repeating and repeating. So we're going to turn off curves for infinity cycle. And to turn off, we're going to change it to constant. Okay? I turn pre-infinity to constant, and now I'm going to turn post-infinity to constant. Now we have two cycles, and when he stops at frame 37, he will literally stop, freeze. Okay? And notice that I have in my running cycle, you remember in frame 1 and frame 19, I had all the controllers keyed. So in frame 37, I'm going to have a key in all the controllers as well. So it's going to be our first key pose. Okay. So from here, I'm going to start working on my uh, blocking for the parkour. Um, for that, I'm gonna create a really big plane, and I'm gonna create like a wall that I want my rig to climb it. I'm gonna do only the first and uh, pose. I'm gonna create the first and the second, so you guys can see how it's gonna work. Because I want to change the arms to from FK to IK, and I'm gonna do this here. I'm gonna change to IK, and I'm gonna change back to FK, so you guys can see um, how I do, and you can do the same way in your blocking. Okay, so yeah, this is my wall. So I want my character to go from the running cycle to the first pose on the wall. As my last pose is in 37 on the run cycle, uh, I'm gonna go to pose frame 42. Then I will have everything selected, and I'm gonna hit S to key everything. Okay, so he's gonna jump from around frame 34 to frame 42. Let me bring it a bit closer, this wall. And just so you guys know, you have the running cycle in keys. So you can change stuff in your running cycle if you want, especially in the last frames of the running cycle. And it's maybe better to adjust it to the first pose. Because imagine in my case, I'm gonna bring my character close to the wall to do something like this. So maybe the last pose should be changed a little bit so the arc of the hip will be more interesting. So let me bring this higher and this higher. So let's see how it goes. Yeah, it's a way more interesting, right? I'm gonna even select the hip and I will check in the graph editor to translate Y and see when it's bouncing down, and I'm going to exaggerate on this. Let me bring the foot down as well. So let's see what happens. I'm going to scrub here so it's kind of a slow motion. It looks cool. You see, I exaggerated anticipation. But anyway, what I want to show here for this pose is the change of the hands to IK. So again, FK is when we have a chain, a sequence of controllers. So in this case, we have the shoulder, we have the elbow, and we have the wrist. And they act like parent and child. So the shoulder would be the parent to the elbow, who is a child for the shoulder, and the elbow is a parent for the wrist. Okay? Um, oh, let me go back to 42. I was in a different frame, changing stuff. So I shouldn't have done that. So 42, I'm gonna hit S and I'm gonna remove frame 66. So back to 42. Um, so again, in FK, we have the sequence of controllers, right? I'm gonna zero out the fingers and zero out the fingers here. In IK, like my legs are in the IK mode. I don't have a sequence of controllers. I have a root, which is the hip. I have like a master controller, which is the foot that I can move and I can rotate and do whatever I want. And the middle controller will just follow. So the knee will follow adapting to the position the foot is. And I want to do this for the arm here. And why that? Because the hands will be on the wall. So the hands will be in a pose that I want to move the hip, but I want to keep the hands on the wall, not moving. The same thing that is happening to the feet. You see? Okay. So in order to change the mode from FK to IK, I'm going to select the screen controller over the rig shoulder. It's different from rig to rig. In some rigs, it's a controller that it's hovering above the wrist. Most of them have a controller here that you select, okay? In some of them, you select the wrist controller here, and then you can change from IK to FK. But anyway, in this case, it's this controller on the shoulder. And modes are usually done, we can change them using 0 and 1. Most of times it's like this, okay? 0, 1, FK, IK. In this case, FK is 0, IK is 1. So I'm going to change this to 1. And when I change this to 1, the arm suddenly change. And why that? Because it changes the mode. And when it changes the mode, it will follow the IK controller for the wrist. And the IK controller for the wrist, I just started using. So there is no animation on it. You see, it's not even keyed. So what we're going to do here, first, we're going to create a key. So we hit S. And then I change this follow chest option, which is set to 10. In this case, it's not 0, 1, it's 0 or 10. So 10 is because it's turned on. And we want to change this to 0. Why that? If follow chest is on, if I select the hip and move the hip around, the IK controller of the hand, which is this one, it will follow the hip. You see? And I don't want it to follow the hip. Okay? I want it to stay in place. So I will select the wrist controller, which is the IK controller for the hand. I will set this to 0, and the hand goes crazy again. Why that? Because when the IK controller for the hand is not following the chest, it's actually on the origin, right? So the origin is here. The orange is inside the ground control. So I don't know where your ground control is, but the wrist control, the IK wrist control, will go back above the ground control. Okay? And we just do it as a same. We just bring the control where we want and we position where we want. And we rotate it. It's good if you rotate it in a way that we rotate as humans. So I'm gonna rotate again. So I'm not rotating like this, you know? I'm not rotating like crazy, going inside, because we don't do this. So I will rotate in a way that we would do to fix the position. Cool? And then I'm gonna move to have it on the wall. I'm not too worried now about fingers. So if there's intersection like this, I'm not worried, and I'm gonna not be worried. I will not be worried in your assignments about details as the fingers because we're gonna have time in the future to fix the fingers. Okay? One more thing. After we place the wrist control here, I want to fix the elbow because this elbow is too open. So it's just like the knee. You're gonna find a controller flying in the direction of the elbow. You just grab it and you put it in the place you want. Cool. Let's do again with the other arm. So I will select the green controller. I will change FK to IK hitting 1. I will select the IK hand controller. I'm going to change the follow chest to 0. Let me click here. And then I'm going to hit S to key everything. Oh, did I key the elbow? I didn't. Let me select the other elbow and hit S to key it. Okay, so the back to the IK of the blue arm, it went back to the ground control position. So I'm going to bring to the position I want. I'm going to do the same for the elbow. Hit S so I don't forget to key and bring the position I want. And okay. And now that we have both hands in IK and not following the chest, I can move my character, the body, whatever I want, and the hands will act just like the feet. They will not move. Of course, there is a limit because if I bring this, it's not supposed to stretch, so it will separate the hands, the geo from the controllers. But anyway, now I can do other poses. Like let's say I want to do a next pose here. The hands will stay in the same place, which is very useful. Okay, so let me go back. And but let's say my next pose, let me select everything and hit S to key everything. But let's say my next pose, I want to go back to FK. So my hands will not be on anything. Let's say my guy will jump away from the wall. So the hip will do something like this. The foot will do something like this. Sorry, I'm doing my new pose in the same frame. So let me undo all of this. Select everything, key, and let me go to frame 50. So in frame 50, I key everything, and I want to do the change. Sorry for that. Okay, now the arms. In this case, I want to change both the arms back to FK. Maybe you just need to do it for one of the arms, but it's up to you. I'm gonna change, it's up to your pose actually. I'm gonna change both of them back to FK, okay? So I will select the the controller on the shoulder, the green one, and I'm gonna change it back to 0. and then I'm going to select the other one, and I'm going to change it back to 0 again. Um, this arm is kind of, uh, let me select everything again because I want to key everything. This arm is kind of not going too crazy. The hand goes a bit crazy. But anyway, right now we don't have to worry about this. So I will bring the arm in the right position, the position that I want, okay? And then the other arm, I will do the same. Um, if I go to the last pose that I was in FK, I will see this arm was in this position. The spine was facing the wall, and the arm was um, to the back side. Okay, it was behind the body. So if I move to frame 50, I will see the arm is in a similar position. We can't see because it's inside the body, but the arm is in a similar position that it was in frame 37. It's still in the same direction. It changed it to this, it moved to this, but it's until still in the same position. So I'm going to move the arm in a way that you follow what the body did. So the body rotated this way. So the arm should rotate the same way. So I'm not doing, let me undo, back to this. I'm not doing this. Otherwise, the arm will rotate in a weird direction. Okay? So I'm going to rotate the arm the same way it would do following what the body did. Okay? And there you go. Now we have two poses. Um, in your poses, let me see what happens in mine. In your poses, yeah, it's happening in mine. It's not perfect, especially the red hand. The arms can go crazy from one pose to another pose. Actually, even the red foot is going a bit crazy. You see? You don't have to worry about this right now, okay? Because we are doing only blocking poses. So I'm worried about this pose and I'm worried about this pose. The in between, we will fix this. I'm going to show you how to change because we did a rough change from IK to FK um, and vice versa. So I'm going to show you guys how to change from one to another and fix all of these curves. Okay, there is two things that we're going to learn in the future: how to fix this crazy arm and have a smooth and perfect change from IK to FK. Cool. One thing you guys can do if you want, some studios like to see, let me change this to, what is my pose 50? Yeah, so let me change this to 60. So some studios, when they see a blocking, they don't like to see this way. They like to see more like this. Let me show you. I select all the controllers. Uh, let me select all of them in frame 50. In frame 50, my arms are FK. So I didn't select the IK controllers actually. But anyway, so this is frame 50 in the graph editor. This is frame 42, and this is frame 37. I know this because it's the last three key poses, 50, 42, and 37. And also because we have the frame number here, 50. We don't have 42, but I can guess, and then 37. Some studios like to see key poses like this. I'm going to select all the three set of keys, and then I'm going to change this to step tangent. Step tangent is this one. This is one that we see um, a sequence of straight lines, okay? So I step change it. The graph editor, you change to something kind of weird like this, but you're gonna see the animation like this. So it is very frozen poses, okay? I think it's something that you guys can do and you can deliver as a step. Um, don't don't step the running cycle. Okay, start changing to stepped from frame 37. Before that, it can be a regular animation. So select the keys in 37, change them to stepped, and then change it all the keys after that. Okay, um, so you will start getting used to see a stepped blocking, and in the future, if you get a job and if they ask for a stepped blocking, you guys know what it is. Cool. So yeah, that's it. If you guys have any questions, if I missed something, if I told something in class and I forgot here, please let me know and I will be happy to record another video. Okay, so that's it. Thank you guys and bye.